Oh my days.
What it do, everybody? What it do?
What the fuck? That was
That's
funny.
how we gonna start it. Yes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the SNS review show. And we're gonna have reactions, we're gonna have conversations, and we want y'all to be a part of it because me and Sway, we can get into it. So we might as well bring y'all into the conversation so y'all can enjoy it with us. Because he's gonna curse me out as you hear my, they're supposed to be asleep, but when it's about for them to go to sleep, that's when they get the most excited. It's the worst thing about children. When it's time for them to go to sleep, that's when they turn up. It's interesting. Ugh.
They know what time it is.
For sure. It's annoying. But it's fun when they get older. Yes, take your time. That's what Mama used to say. Don't you rush to get old.
But I get shamed because I'm not starting sometimes in this space.
Nah, but you got plenty of time to start though.
I know I do. I'm not rushing for nobody.
What's up, Princess Cammy? Mr. Five Guys, what up? Yes, it's a new show. It is what it is. What it do, y'all?
Salute Cammy for the thumbnail. Appreciate you.
Word.
I think she did our AI edits. I know she did mine.
Yes.
Thank her so much. It's really good. I appreciate her. Now today is just going to be me and Sharon chopping it up, reviewing a lot of different topics. Mainly, I have thoughts about his show in particularly, so I would like to talk about a lot of the topics he's already addressed on his show, but more so just between us and a back and forth without any sidebars or ad-libbing or extraness. It's just me and him holding each other accountable to what we say and having our, hopefully we can leave it, let it be an intellectual debate or conversation. I lean to me being the more triggered person and getting hyper just because I know that's my personality when I get into a conversation. But don't take it as me being upset because I'm really more often than not upset as Sharon. I just think what he thinks sometimes is crazy. And it just doesn't make sense to me. So I get like wild. So, but I got some questions. Unless Sharon wanted to say anything before we get started.
No, go ahead. Let's go. Let's deep dive into it. Let's have a good time.
Well, I guess we don't have to use this. I mentioned it before, but we can address today's show.
Woo.
I found it interesting to say the least. So we were talking about it. You guys were talking about a topic I actually just talked about on Lucky's channel last night.
Oh, really?
With the age gap dating and all the Drake dealing with Lotto's little sister, the whole
whose sister did what?
Drake dealing with, I guess he got caught on a date with Lotto's little sister. She's 21, he's 37.
Oh shit.
And
it's
then
down out here.
What are we saying? Then we were talking about the women. We were saying Keisha Cole and who was the other?
Her boyfriend, yeah, he's 20. I believe he's 24. And Little Kim as well. She's dating a 23-year-old, and Little Kim is 49. Keisha Cole is my age, which is 43. We also got Cher. Cher is dating a 24-year-old. Mm-hmm. And Madonna, she's also dating like a 21, 22-year-old as well. He's a so-called rapper. So it's going on. It is going down. It ain't just in the hip-hop culture. It's all over the place.
No, I agree with you. It's definitely getting all over the place. I think when you push the woman to have a male-centric, masculine mindset, you will start seeing similar trends amongst the women that accept that ideology. Especially when they put into that let alone position, like they kind of put themselves in that, I'm A-type personality. I'm the leader. I have certain things that need to be a certain way, and I have my life need to be a certain way, and I'm going to be in control of that. Typically, you're going to find them wanting to be in control of their relationships. And as these women get older, they're dealing with older men. Those men aren't necessarily going to comply, so they date younger. And this is what you get.
Shit. I think Tyranny, somebody that's in our space, I believe she's also dating about like 10 years younger. But so you saying that these women, when they get to a certain level, the men of their own age do not respect who they are as wives or long-term relationships. So now, therefore, they have no
the men that they would want. I'm not going to say just men in general. The men that they would want don't respect that, or they would be with them.
So therefore, it makes more sense for them to date somebody that's broke and young than broke and old.
Not necessarily broke. I think, like you guys saying, it's a level of influence. It's a level of control. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as manipulation because I don't think that these young boys are like being manipulated. I think they're complicit in these actions and they know what they're doing and they're accepting what comes with it. So I don't think it's any form of manipulation. But I think the idea that these women are in the power position in the relationship is what they want. And it's easier to do that when you're talking to a young man. These young men aren't like run of the mill nobodies. Niggas is 6'5", tattooed up, rappers, got their money, got things, got clout a little bit. Maybe they're trying to get more clout, but the idea is that they're above average in terms of a 24-year-old, and they can pick up any 24-year-old woman that they want, let alone 30 or 35, or they're literally dealing with a celebrity. You don't think that they can go deal with a random 21-year-old or random 24-year-old woman
I
that's
don't
not
think so. And
well,
the
I
reason
think
why I don't think so is because if they was dealing with somebody within their own age group at the young age group, they would have to put out more financially or mentally and spiritually, emotionally.
well,
They have
Sherrod,
to
that's
be.
not what was the question. It was more question: do you think these women are attracted to them?
So
Do you think
physically only. Physically only, yes. But I think once
phys-
they start talking and going on dates and they realize this young man cannot provide the things other than him being good looking and dick and bubblegum, no, they can't go past that. Same thing with the older men that they cannot date women that looks great at their age group. So a man that is 40 something years old and he got to go all the way down to 20 something, that's most likely because he cannot find something within his intellect range.
yes and no? I'm not
And the
going to say
reason,
that that doesn't
and so
exist,
when he go to, I even heard him say
but
it.
I don't think that's more often than not the case.
These men, well, for the men that I spoken to, and for the men that we have reviews on their videos, they even said nonsense like, "You can't teach a woman your age about Martin Luther King." What the? I was like, "What?"
What are you talking about?
A man said when he dates somebody his own age, he can't teach them nothing. So it kind of shows like he was talking towards his intellect, and that women of his same age group, he cannot teach them anything. And so it goes to show that he had to go down lower in age because the women as they don't know no better, and he could teach them something. And he said out his mouth, like Martin Luther King. And I was just that's what the man said. I can't make this shit up. It was crazy. But a lot of times they want to teach the woman because, you know, in these spaces as well, you know, is big on leadership. And so they know they cannot lead somebody with their
So
own
I'm
age.
not going to deny that, but I'm just saying I don't think men that can bag a 21-year-old baddie can somehow not bag a 45-year-old woman. I just think he doesn't want to, or doesn't want to, like you said, he chooses not to because he doesn't want to deal with what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to live up to the expectation that maybe a 35 or 45-year-old woman might want from him. He might want a little bit more fun and lackadaisical and freedom and free flowing type energy where a woman still thinks life has all open doors. So I, you know what I'm saying? But is
So
that right or wrong? That's subjective. I'm not here to argue that.
So I think the real problem is that he cannot. For me, if I date somebody my age group, I could still make her feel the same way how I could make that 20-year-old feel lackadaisical, calm, chill, relax, not
I don't think
combative.
that's the
I
point.
could do
It's
the
just
same
like,
thing. A lot of these men and the women,
are you saying you get the same experience from a 45-year-old that you would get from a
if I
25-year-old?
wanted to, yes.
What does
So
that
I
mean?
could the same way how I could teach that 25-year-old, I could teach a 43-year-old.
No, I'm saying when you're dealing with them, when you're dealing with these women, do you expect a different like energy from them?
Expect no. I just think every human being is different, so we all going to receive each other differently in our own special nuances. However, I will have no problem with teaching and leading somebody within my age group. These men
So
and those women, they have a problem with leading people in their own age group.
So that means the only issue with that is that when I hear, if people on your panel make the argument that there's a naivety, there's a lack of maturity, that even what you alluded to, a lack of you know thing or more things that you could teach them, knowledge, whatever experience, and then in the same breath you saying no, there's no difference on what you expect out of them, the level of intellect, the level of experience, the level of conversations that you could be having at that moment, like things like you don't have different expectations for a 21-year-old from a 41-year-old.
Me personally, no, because I could teach either one.
Do you think reality has them in two different places?
No, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it can be. Reality
I'm about
can
to say, don't bite
it
your
can be.
arguments because you're
It
gonna have
can be.
women coming at
However,
your back
what
tomorrow.
I've noticed is that the older ones that cannot compete within their own age group, they turn into predators and they have to prey on younger people, younger men or younger women, because if they was to do it in their own age group, they would be undateable.
That
The
wasn't
people in
my
their
question.
own age group be like, bitch, you crazy.
That wasn't my question.
But
My question is the level of expectation when these men are saying, "Hey, I don't want to deal with a 41-year-old over a 21-year-old, or I don't want to deal with a 20-year-old over a 41-year-old because they lack maturity." There obviously there's a difference between the experience when you're dealing with the two, and I think if we want to move the conversation forward, you have to at least acknowledge that.
I don't think so, because the same way how I'm having a great cordial conversation with you, I can have a great cordial conversation with somebody with my own age group the same way.
I think you're leaving it at like surface level stuff though.
Hmm.
Can you relate the same with a 21-year-old that you could with a woman that's around your age in terms of just like childhood music,
So I guess
like
for me, with the way how I
books
look at,
you've read,
I don't
movies
talk
you've
about
watched?
like yeah,
I
I don't
just
talk
think there
about
are things that I mean, you said you don't talk about them, but I'm not, it doesn't matter if you talk about them. I'm asking, could you do that with them? And the more often than not would be no, because they didn't grow up the same lifetime that
I
you did.
disagree. So that's what I'm saying. So that what goes with the intellect thing, right? Like I don't
There's
have to
nothing to
talk
go with
about
intellect.
it. It definitely
That
does.
goes with experience.
No, so I don't have to talk about her childhood, my childhood, or the 43-year-old child. Me and them don't have to have a conversation about childhood
You
things and
don't.
how we
It's not
relate to
about
each other.
you talking about childhood. It's that even like references, even when you're trying to make certain like what is it called, clarifications, but you're trying to connect two different pieces and you're saying like something, and
Mm.
the example you're saying like this, more often than not, unless you can relate to them, they won't understand, and people your age have an easier time relating with other people your age using those scenarios because you guys grew up in the same time seeing and viewing and experiencing similar things. Similarly with my age group, I can't talk to you the same way. Like I can't talk to you about Yu-Gi-Oh and Bakugan and Soldier Boy and certain things that like how I viewed it versus how maybe you would view it, maybe as a parent or a 22, 26-year-old, or I don't know how old you were when Soldier Boy came out. But the idea is that that has nothing to do with you and you don't give a fuck about that. So how the hell could you reference this to relate it to my experience when you didn't experience that, and vice versa? So you wouldn't be expecting the same thing when you're dealing with them.
So exactly what I'm saying is that like so I don't have to reference those childhood things to have any relations with another human being.
So
I don't have
do
to
you not
go
watch
down
movies?
into I don't have to go down into what music we listen to relate to somebody.
Do you not watch movies?
No.
What do you do at home?
I gotta
What do you
read.
do? You never went to a movie theater?
Of course, I've been to a movie theater. The last movie I seen was Endgame in the movies.
But you don't have like Netflix, Hulu, HBO,
Yeah,
nothing.
so like if it's me and the wife and we have like some time to ourselves, we got like 2-3 hours, we'll put a movie on. Yeah, for sure.
So
However, but it's not our go-to. It's not something I bring up in
I mean,
conversation.
it can even be in the simple fact of like, I don't know, man. I think you are trying to say no for you,
Mm.
but I think if we speak outside of you, would you agree?
So that's the part I was saying, because like think about it like this: me and you, we never spoke about movies, Yu-Gi-Oh, or music like that.
But we speak about trades.
Right.
And that's the only reason we have probably the good, best connection is the fact that we both are blue collar tradesmen. Is you're HVAC and I'm electrical, and you're older than me, so it's kind of like a little mentorship type of thing. But it's a level of respect that you don't talk down to me.
That's the part I wanted to reach in, and saying that, look, I can have an intellectual conversation just with people in general, because I do not have to make myself the bigger person or the smaller person or dumb myself down to speak to somebody. I don't have to do that. And these people that have to date younger, they have to date young because they are just dumb. So they have to dumb down conversation. They got to have conversations strictly about fun.
I would say
Oh,
that's
did you
true.
hear that new song? I don't have to talk to
I'm
nobody
not
about the new
denying
song.
that some people have a slower mentality. They need to deal with a younger woman, but the idea,
Yes.
or younger man, whatever the case may be,
Right.
arrested development is real. I think Shahrazad Ali just said that most of these black women are suffering from it. A lot of them are 45, thinking like a 14-year-old,
Right.
which
It was actually said today. That exact quote.
oh,
He said these 45-year-old women are still 14 years old in their mind. It's crazy. That's
but
wild.
I think a lot of things on your show was kind of just all over the place and a little bit contradictory if said by the same person, and I don't know how they can like have the same how they can fit in the same thought process. It's cognitive dissonance. I know it's a phrase for it, but
Mhm.
the same breath is like that's I don't know how that really exists because when you say it out loud, it shouldn't make sense. It should make sense in your brain, but as soon as you start saying shit out loud and you start hearing it, it should not make sense at all. But they say it out loud and they're still convinced. And I'm like, are you not hearing yourself? So my main point is that when you're the one sidedness, I always understand when the men to the young women. However, I'm across the board. You already heard me. I think they're complicit. I think they understand very well. Little girls was getting a stuff rubbed in middle school, sucking dick in middle school.
What?
Young boys was doing all types in sixth, seventh, eighth grade. These people have on. These are average people, right? Average people, you let alone celebrities, and you want to talk about people in the limelight and people that's been exposed to this stuff at a hyper level, and they're getting dressed to impress. So these are regular people, let alone you're talking about 21-year-olds, 24-year-olds, like they know what they're getting into. And I'm 25, so I'm not far removed in my thought process of what I was with 21, 24, and I'm not giving them niggas no grace. If Rihanna came up to me when I was 21 and was like, "Hey, young nigga, I'm gonna give you this thing for 30 bands a month," I'm like, I'm broke. And this
How old
Rihanna,
is Rihanna?
I don't care. This Rihanna, she could have been 54. I know she got at least a bill with her makeup
So
line. I
so
know
the problem is
I know
when you
she could
was
fly
20,
me out. I know she could put me on to some,
I think she's only
some.
about like 13 years older than you.
I don't
So
know.
she
I don't
still
care. That's
look good.
Hey, I'm just saying, if
Cher,
she came to me when I was 21, I would have been her
Madonna.
first baby daddy, and I would have been cool with that. I would have trapped her, and I would have did my thing. If I put a baby on Rihanna, then what would y'all be saying?
Listen, what I'm saying is this: Cher, Madonna, Little Kim, Keisha Cole, those women are not looking at their prime. They cannot compete with anybody within those young men age group. None of them.
Bro,
They ugly. They nasty. They disgusting. Ugh. And the only way they can ever date somebody, they have to trick the younger man or the younger woman. Both sides is the
didn't you
same.
say men? I got it actually written up. You said something about men are hypergamous.
Absolutely. Men are hypergamous.
So these men are in it for the money and the clout, and they trying to get a come up. So I don't know what you talking about.
Touche, my friend. Touche.
I knew it. See, I got all the little trick cards, man. I remember everything. Don't worry, guys. I'm calling Sharon on his shit today. This is Sway calling Sharon on his shit review.
But I think, to be honest with you, even though the men are hypergamous, especially in this situation, without a doubt, they are being manipulated to get involved in that season puss. Without a doubt. They would rather be hypergamous with somebody they age that could, like how you said, talk about Yu-Gi-Oh cards and shit like that, instead of being with that seasoned vagina. Because it's a
Have you
little
ever talked to a
salty.
21-year-old woman?
Yes.
Like, in relationship capacity.
Which well, I've been
Like
married
if you're
for.
in point right now, like you probably not, right?
Well,
So
I mean, I had some
I'm
younger
telling you, I'm gonna
ladies.
let you on right now.
I had
Most
some
of
younger
them,
ladies definitely like,
nah.
you ain't no goddamn 43. Let me put this young puss up on you. Let me give you some of this
I don't
fresh,
know what you expect to get
unseasoned.
out of a 21-year-old woman in 2024. It's more often than not going to be great conversation. It ain't going to be like some, like, I just don't. You're not getting no money out of them. You're not getting no clout out of them. They not like, I don't. You think he gonna get Zendaya?
Who
Like, I don't. The 24-year-old dude. So like, if this rich 40, 50-year-old clout exposed woman can get my rap career off the ground and my Instagram popping for the next 5 years, and I don't have to give her a child, I'm doing it. And I don't gotta marry her.
So, but that's where I believe the taking advantage of is coming in. They actually believe that Cher, Madonna, Keisha Cole, and Little Kim is actually going to help them within their career. That these women are actual a come up, and these women are not going to be a come up. They are not going to push their career forward. They might get a $1 or $2 out of it. They might get a chain out of it, possibly.
Nah,
However, they're not going to get no higher elevated career. They're not going to get no bigger status because all the men that is running the industry, they're gonna be looking at them like they clowns. You know what I was doing to your show? You know how many dicks was in her mouth?
What?
The young men don't respect that homeboy is dating Little Kim or Keisha Cole. They don't respect that.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying
You don't know. You too old for this game. I'm telling you, man.
So you
like,
saying,
yo,
you are telling me the people in the industry right now.
You think they shaming LeBron James, not LeBron, Michael Jordan's son for fucking with
Larsa Pippen?
Yeah.
Yes.
The young boys is.
Yes, they like, you stupid as hell. You see all this nice fresh ass pussy out here. You dealing with that old asshole?
Them young boys want to be next. You're bugging.
What?
You're
with
bugging.
Larsa Pippen?
They want to go to the Lakers game. They want to go to the Chicago game. They want to go to the New York game. They want to be flown out, taken care of, and bust down this baddie and just live life just the same as women do. Is like you said, they're hypergamous.
Shit. So are we entering the soft guy era?
Y'all made these feminine ass niggas. So that's
what you get. Shit. How the hell did we get into the soft guy era? I don't understand this.
No, I'm just playing. I wouldn't call it feminine. Like I said, I think it's more opportunist. And men, for the most part, you can call it lazy, or you can call it like them being like analytical about it. They're being smart about it. They're being like
smart.
Well, it's like if I'm gonna go to least path of resistance, which most men are gonna do, you can call it smart, moving the smart way, or you can call it moving the lazy way. But in the same breath, they'll probably be better off than most people their age.
That's 100%. They will be way better off with somebody age instead of dealing with somebody that is being a predator towards them and saying, "Hey, listen, I got this career for you."
I'm not. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in terms of where they are in life at the time, they'll probably be a better position than most people their age.
I don't think so. Because I think it's not going to age well that you dated Little Kim. It's not going to age well that you was dating Keisha Cole.
Give a fuck.
It's gonna. I think people are going to care that you chose.
Young men want
to vagina.
If young men don't gotta commit to y'all for real, old women for real, they are willing to bust them down, and you pay them, and you pay for everything for them. Ugh. It's like the homosexual meter. It's like he won the lottery.
Damn, that sounds crazy.
Like you gave the number one Pookie the thing he wanted. He cool with that.
God damn. What up, y'all? What's good? Welcome everybody that's stopping by. I appreciate every last one of you. That's our welcome. We are talking about the Cougars, and we are talking about the brand new soft guy era. Clearly, what is happening is going down. The soft guy era is real. And when you see men walking up behind other men, giving them a big old hug and kisses on the cheek, now we know why. Oh, you didn't see Jaden Smith and Justin Bieber?
You said kissing on the cheek?
They was at the corner of the lip. That's how close they were. Jaden Smith walked up behind Justin Bieber.
You can do it in culture and you can do it overseas. You can't do it just in America just because like that's not an American standard. Italians overseas, like certain like in household type shit, family members don't not like I don't know about all that shit.
I could find a video if you want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
Okay, good.
See it. I'm good. I'm Gucci on.
But I think it's kind of crazy that more and more as this thing is just this, I guess sexuality is just opening up kind of crazy that more and more men are seemingly willing to be the one being taken care of.
I'm not gonna lie to you,
sugar baby.
But listen to this, Sharon. As much as we think we're not spewing remedial rhetoric, this is just the slippery slope from this is just going to make men even more anti-gay. Like they're going to be even more defensive about it, let alone black men. They're going to be even more anti, want to down it, want to just abolish it. Because I brought this up early in my notes. They were saying that it's somehow not women's fault for down low men being down low. And it's not our fault. But then, like 10 minutes later, was shaming straight men as if they were down low. So it's obviously a bad thing, and you think that you openly trying to shame straight men about it doesn't allude that this isn't something that they shouldn't come out about. So I just think, all in all, people really got to check what they say if you're talking about remedial rhetoric, because it goes both ways. And I pointed out multiple times, I'm not here to pick a side. I'm here to speak what is and what y'all say. And as much as y'all like to battle, it really gets lost, and y'all yourselves start speaking remedial rhetoric.
So I think the thing is that they want people to just be honest and truthful. So when the people are not being honest with themselves and saying what they like behind closed doors, and they acting like they tough, they put this bravado up, and now they are tough guys, and they don't. What? I never do no shit like that, and then it comes out.
But you also know that's not somehow on straight men, right?
That's the issue. But they playing like they straight.
But that doesn't mean that they are straight representatives. Just because they play like they straight, they still gay.
They gay behind scenes.
It don't matter. They still gay.
They will have a wife. They will have kids.
They still gay.
And then they will go and give people hugs and reach around. That's crazy.
But they're not a straight representative. You can't put their actions on straight men. Straight men don't do that, or they wouldn't be straight.
The problem is we don't know what's the difference between
straight men. In conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know if they down low, you don't know if they straight. I don't know what you are. We don't know what I am. We don't know what any things are, right? So in conversation, you can't put what down low men do on straight men, because then they would not be straight.
Right, but if that straight man that we presume is straight, he start doing down low activities, that person we can start questioning, who are you? What are you, sir? And what are you doing here?
Listen to what I'm saying. You aren't allowed to generalize conversations about straight men alluding to what down low men do, because straight men don't do what down low men do, or they wouldn't be straight.
But that's the whole part of it, right? Of the conversation.
Down low men do what down low men do. That's not what straight men do.
So if I'm a straight man and you telling me you're a straight man, and I'm seeing you doing some weird things, like, hey, bro, you all right? What's going on with you?
If I tell you I'm a butterfly,
and so therefore I ask you, so do you play the tambourine? You know, he's a little. So you play the tambourine. Jesus, like the deacon.
I can tell you I'm a Canadian man all day, bro, but it don't fucking matter if that's not actually what I am, and I can't somehow reflect my experience in life as a Asian man, and I've never experienced that, and nor do I preach that, nor do I live that. Like I said, a straight man lives a straight life, and whatever down low men do is what down low men do, and you cannot equate their actions to what straight men do, because they don't do that.
So I disagree. The reason why I disagree, if I see somebody that deemed in public because it's all we can really go by. In public, he's playing like a straight man.
Nobody in public's anything.
Say what?
Nobody in public's their sexuality.
No, people absolutely show their sexuality in public.
You don't know what they are just because they're with it's a man with a woman. I seen a couple get arrested for this woman getting dude in by an animal and then the man watching.
So what I'm saying is this: if it's a man and woman walking down the street and he looks straight, right? He looks like it, she looks like it, whatever. And then he drops his keys and he picks up his keys without bending his knees. I'm like, yo, bro, what's wrong with you? That's all I'm saying, Sway. Something wrong with that, bro.
Oh my God.
There's something wrong. Yes.
If that man does that and he only has sex with women, is that what you're telling me?
I don't know, because I don't know what he do behind closed doors. I'm
asking you. He's
I would say, hey,
somehow down low traits and tendencies, but he only has sex with women. That's what you're telling me.
I'm saying that he might be a tambourine player.
Are you the same person that said a man is straight even if he gets pegged by a woman?
Yes, I am. Because the reason why is because as long as a woman is turning you on sexually, it is straight. No matter how weird it is.
So who turned who on when he bent over to pick it up? You or him?
That's what I'm saying. Who is he trying to entice? That's what I'm trying to say. Who are you trying to get?
Well, no. Why are you looking?
I'm just saying. I just want to know who is he trying to attract. That's all I'm just like, yo,
like,
bro.
He's trying to attract me? Let me find out. Nah. You're bugging, Sharon.
Hey.
It's like I said, and it's as much as you want to fight back and find a way out in conversation, you're not allowed to somehow generalize what down low men do and equate that to straight men. Because that's not straight men, especially if you're talking about hiding their sexuality in a closet and not telling people or coming back with STDs or any of these other things.
Right.
Like that's not what straight men do, because straight men wouldn't experience those things because they're straight.
Correct.
Unless they got that from a woman, but you couldn't say they got it from a dude, at least.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like when a man is saying, hey, I know this is a man, even though he dresses like a woman.
Oh my fucking God.
And he starts dancing and touring. He says, hey, I want to throw my dollars on the man's ass instead of Megan Thee Stallion's ass. That's a problem. That's not straight. Well, that is very DL-ish, I could say.
But that's not, if he's attracted to a man,
Mommy, they're going.
That's the part that's not straight.
That's what I'm saying. So if a man comes out when we know everything that he was promoting before is straight masculinity.
If a man is attracted to titties and ass, I think there's an idea, like you said, if he knows he's a man, that makes him, like you said, down low.
Okay, that's what we talking about. Now we get into the nitty-gritty.
In the same breath, when all of y'all are like confused, if you don't know if it's a man or a woman, from Fatty to Daryl to whomever, y'all got the clips of yourselves saying, if y'all don't know if this woman was a man or not, and so if you didn't know, you threw shit on it, and you're like, nigga, that's a man. You're like, oh, give me my shit, give me my dollars back. That's different.
I agree with that.
If you threw it out and your man was like, hey, that's a man, you're like, let me throw some more. That's, nigga, you're not my friend. I'm not.
And that's when it gets weird. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, if you get fooled, you get fooled. Okay, that's fine. You get fooled, you got fooled. But once you know, and you're like, well, he dancing better than her, bro, it's a problem. You playing the tambourine. You better not drop your keys because he
But
ain't
you
gonna
just
bend his
can't
knees
equate
when he
those
pick it up.
actions as straight men, though. Is all I'm saying.
And then that's when we can start peeling back the onion. We turn it into a cry fest because we're like, oh, I always knew it was something strange about you. I just didn't know what it was.
All right. Let's move this off of this.
Bottom line, fellas, do not pick up your keys without bending your knees.
This month. Don't drop your keys. Sharon to be looking. Anyways, Brownsville, man, he trips me up because I understand his intentions and I know he comes off like he's a villain, but he's not really a villain. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like him saying like, y'all niggas need to get in the gym. You need to get better. You need to get more money to do with your life. Protect your family. So it's like you're not saying anything bad, but it's like you also like coming at me sideways. And it's like, nigga, who the fuck?
I mean, but sometimes we have to do that to our other men. We gotta let them know, like, hey, listen, you're gonna have high cholesterol.
But he also put standards on like what a real man is and all this other shit, and that's always going to be a level of subjectivity. But I agree on some points, but in some points, it's like, bro, you really slippery sloping it when the accountability thing today, when he somehow was he was shifting accountability of women's action onto men, which I was not understanding. Because I grew up that women are equal and they're autonomous beings. They can think for themselves and strong and independent and don't mansplain, and they develop mentally faster and all these other great, mental things. So I was really confused as to why he was trying to shift a woman's own actions and not allowing them to take. Because even the topic of accountability, I think a lot of times you guys are talking about responsibility. Accountability can only happen with self. It's not like I can hold you accountable. That like you can only hold yourself accountable. I can hold you responsible for what you say and do, but I can't necessarily hold you accountable. The fuck am I gonna do? You only person that can do anything about that is yourself.
So yeah, I can hold you accountable to your words. If you say you're gonna do 20 push-ups a day, I could call you up. Hey, you say you're gonna do 20 push-ups. Did you do your 20 push-ups? And you say yes or no. Then I'm like, hey, and you say no. I say, hey, you got to do your 20 push-ups. That's me holding you accountable. I can't force you to do it, but that's me holding you accountable at that juncture.
It really doesn't do anything though, because at the end of the day, it's like it's up to him. Like, how many times are you gonna tell him, hey, and then he says no for like 10 times? You're gonna keep calling him? Most people are not gonna. It's talking through you, because most people aren't gonna keep calling them. They're not gonna. If I call you 365 days out of the year, and every time I ask you, did you do your 10 push-ups? You tell me no. It's only so many times motherfucker's gonna get the point. So he's gonna have to come to that conclusion himself to do 10 push-ups. Nobody can hold him accountable but himself.
But it's still holding him accountable because
I don't try to force women or men to anything that they say that they want. I just say go get it. And if you can, cool. If you can't, look at yourself and what are you doing, your own actions to not or to get that. And for the most part, don't cry about it, because you more often than not knew what you were getting into.
However, we do have to do our best to hold people at least accountable to their words to the best of our ability. That's the only thing we can do, is say, hey, you got to keep the standard that you are presenting to us. So if you say that you're going to do 10, did you do your 10? Yes or no? If you say no, then hey, so don't talk to us about, like working out.
When y'all talk about this whole women or children thing, I don't believe that, or this shifted accountability would allude to that, because then you're treating them like children. That if somehow their actions is your fault as a man, then they're no different than your child. And
no, I think that's not true. So like,
well,
if
they're autonomous beings and they can think for themselves and they can hold themselves to their own actions,
right?
Then they're not children, which I think which is what they do. I'm not going to blame men for the choices of women and their actions as grown people and subject them to be children.
So I don't agree that is subjected to be children, because children are fully autonomous as well, right? We just could influence them. That's the only thing we can do. Same thing with our women. If we are holding a certain standard and men are moving throughout this life, say, hey, we are not
Are
condoning
your
this.
child's actions your fault?
Say what?
Are your child's actions your fault?
No.
Are your woman's actions your fault?
No.
So you disagree with Brownsville?
No. Right. So therefore, my responsibility is to ingrain them a certain standard. So now once they move them to the standard, they start falling below the standards. Now I gotta hold them accountable with my words and my own actions so they could follow suit. So once they follow in suit, the only thing I can do, because I cannot forcibly with physicality with an iron fist tell them to do something. The only thing I can do is move the way how I move, and they are going to follow because they respect me. So I got to. The only solution is actually to change
what
yourself.
happens if they
If men
don't
start to change their own standards, the women will follow suit.
What happens if they don't respect you? Are you still accountable for how they move and think?
Right, but that's not. But the problem is that that's not going to happen within your household.
Well, that's not what we're talking about, because we're talking about on the macro, because he brought it out to generalities outside of your household, and it was saying men are accountable for women's actions and men are the reasons why these women move the way they move. And so at that juncture,
perfect. So again, so now if all the men start giving themselves a higher standard, the women have no choice but to acquiesce to this higher standard of moving. So once the people decide, hey, we moving like this, that shit is not acceptable, the women got to follow suit no matter what, because it's not going to be conducive to their lifestyle. Because they got to be a part of it. So like when we come up with a brand new law and we say, and everybody say, all right, this is the new law, we all following this. It's $20 an hour. You now can say, hey, I'm not going to be held accountable because I could give him 15. No, you got to give him $20 an hour within McDonald's.
So you're trying to put a law on men to move a certain way?
Absolutely.
So can we put a law on women to move a certain way?
That's the thing. You don't need to. Once you put it on the men, and the men start, if we was at a 90% clip, start moving a certain way, all of the women will start naturally moving a certain way.
Can we, though, even if you're saying we don't need to, can we still put a law in place for women to move a certain way?
The problem with that is that, so I'm not understanding. So you're saying that the woman's going to have the law on them and the men don't?
No, they both have a law.
It will be no need. That's what I'm saying. So it will be no need to put the law on the women at all, because the men are not going to be dealing with it.
Dealing with what?
Well, whatever they try. If men was moving like, we do not deal with no kind of sexy red, or anybody that listened to this, or anybody that dressed like this.
You said we don't deal with sexy red,
so whatever that is, right? I'm just trying to
judge women.
I'm just giving the most egregious person
and hold
that
them to certain standards.
Right, that's the people that they talk about. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're allowed to judge women for how they act and how they move.
If you are yourself not moving in that accord, you cannot judge a woman and then also be putting your peen in said type of woman.
But if I'm not putting my peen in said type of woman,
and then you could pass judgment. But so if you are moving in a certain way, then you could talk about people moving in a certain way.
Okay, so I do, and I still get pushed back. You don't think that's because maybe there's not a level of respect from women to most men, especially random niggas?
No, I disagree.
You think most women respect most men?
The ones that's moving a certain way, yes. The men that are moving righteousness and they can see it, they absolutely respect them. 100%. We see it all the time. We see.
So why does Trigger Mike get disrespected so much?
Because he say disrespectful things.
Why do you get disrespected so much?
I don't get disrespected.
Why do I get disrespected so much?
Who I get disrespected by?
Disrespected so much? Why does Cheeky get disrespected so much? There's a lot of people that do the right thing and move the right way and have a good head on the shoulder to get disrespected in this space by a man or woman.
Well, that's so now if we talking about just in these squares, that's because we're not physically there, so they can actually have assessment of who we are. So when I go to one of the meetups or something like that, nobody's talking to me the way how they talk on these guys. Even when I met people that had problems with me, like they're like, "I'll beat you up when I see you." When they see me,
saying we can't actually have solutions on these boxes, then?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, we can have solutions with our words. 100%. We can have ideologies, but the other person has to live towards it. So that's how come even when people be disrespectful to me in these panels, I still don't drop them because I'm holding a standard that I allow people to say what they need to say as long as it's not going to be detrimental to the channel where it could hurt the channel,
But
right?
in the
So
same
therefore,
breath,
I keep that stance saying I don't just because somebody say some foul shit about me, I don't block them under my chat. I don't drop them down on the
how
screen.
would a random woman know that? Like, how would she know to respect me just out of the blue if I just approached her like, "Hey, stop doing this. Move
She
like
have to
this."
wait. She have to wait until time. Time
Huh?
would tell. Time would tell. Most of the time, when people see each other for the first time, it ain't no really respect, especially in these square spaces. But as time go on, and we start to understand how the person is talking, how they living, and possibly how they moving, but we have an ideology of who this person is, the respect thing change. Like this, the way how Venus would speak to me, she's not going to speak to Joseph that way.
See, my thing is that I just couldn't be able to tell my daughter that, hey, all accountability on your actions, ideology, and thought processes is either because of a man or is somehow accountable to men. That means that she had no thoughts or compartmentalization of her own, and she's just being followed what she's told.
No, so that's a different conversation. Because so what we have in the conversation is this: if men change their standards, women would change their standards naturally. That's what that's what Brownsville was saying. If men was to collectively change their standards, women would naturally have to change their standards.
You know, young men have changed their standards and they call them sissies and soft and all these other things. And you've actually humbled the young men for the most part, and they don't do a lot of the treacherous things that y'all, you know, deprive on men that the older generation that you live on. I mean, you might have the bad apples here and there, but you'll always have that in any group, any culture, and you can find as many of those cases as you want because they exist. There's probably be about 1,000 of them, but if you span that over the 40 million blacks we got, not that many. So I think in the same breath, young men have a different experience that you guys live. But a lot of times when you guys are you say that you don't want to, how we think, how we move, how we compartmentalize information, what we're willing to deal with, what we're not willing to deal with, our standards are completely different. And I think podcast previewed that to me the other day. He said, shout out to podcast, man. If y'all don't haven't already checked him out, man. That's the man's pod. Um, he alluded to that I have the privilege of hindsight as a young person. And I do that I can see how you guys move and think and the outcomes you guys got based off of the decisions you make and make the my own decisions based off of that information. And so when I look at how the women move, how the women think, how my mama, how my aunties, how my cousins, how random girls that I grew up with, and where I grew up with from New York to Virginia to North Carolina to Florida, San Francisco, all over the country, I met a lot of different women and I see what I don't want. And for the most part, young men have those set standards now. We don't have the same outcomes as y'all. We don't have children out of wedlock at 18, 19, 20. We are trying to make more money. We're less incarcerated. You're talking about this fourth grade reading level. I think that's pretty fixated on certain places. Nor do I don't know how long that statistic has been standing. I've been hearing that for a while now. Like a while. How long these motherfuckers been reading in fourth grade? So it's just whatever. But you can go ahead. I know I've been talking.
No, you're good. So, but also it got this thing that so like it's a lot of young men. They can clearly tell you what they don't want. However, they
We can
can't
tell
tell
you
you
what
what
we want.
they can't tell you what they do want from a woman, and they also still entertain the things that they do not want for women, and
The
that is the
things
part
you
that has to
tell,
change.
the things when you ask us, what do we want from a woman? You've literally told us not to want those things. And we've been shamed to not want those things, and if we've ever to bring them up, somehow it's like misogynistic. If we say we want a woman to do any of the feminine characteristics that they would categorize and jump to a conclusion that they would be barefoot and pregnant, but like no, we just want certain things that we want from a woman. We don't want you to act like a man, think like a man, move like a man, nor do I think you want me to act and think and move like a woman. I think for the most part, when you push come to shove in a relationship, you want a man to be a man and a woman to be a woman. So when I'm dealing with you, I would like for certain things, and do you benefit my life differently than how it benefits yours? That's just how I think young men can't say those things, because what they would say, cooking, cleaning, fit, feminine, friendly, all those little talking points, at this point they've been denigrated to talking points. It's like, no, those are real things that if you just do in a relationship, it would help out dramatically. Or if you kind of dangle it as something to work for, young men will probably thrive to do more. But for the most part, if you get them attitude and fluff and no hope, like, what the fuck do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna prioritize themselves, self-worth, self-interest, and either crash the fuck out or do great things, but be a very selfish person.
So I think the problem is that when they say all these things, it's fit, family friendly, and then when they get called out on those things, they don't know how to react, and then that's why the women get pushed back. So when like for example, when we was having a conversation about how women dress, and I was like, yes, I picked my wife's clothes out. There's like, what? You pick your wife's clothes out? Blah, 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 blah. Yes. Why? You insecure about if she? Yes. It's easy for me to say that. Are you insecure? Yes. Me as a man, I will feel a certain way. She wore a certain thing. Yes, I don't like it. It makes me feel a certain way. I'm okay to say that. Most of the time, men were like, well, it's because I'm a man. Raw! That's not how you communicate. You cannot be ashamed for who you are and what you like out of your partner.
I mean, some people just think it's
they get tricked all the time and say, and the next problem is once they get tricked, also the women say, so are you going to provide those things so I could be fit, feminine, and friendly? And they cannot answer that. And they get tricked out of it because most young men, they are afraid to put that responsibility on themselves because they want the 50-50. Because it costs to be the boss. This is what I was raised up on. It costs to be the boss. So if you want to run things a certain way, you better be providing things a certain way as well.
I agree with you, but the idea that you being fit and feminine as a woman is somehow my responsibility is wild.
Why you say that?
Because there are fit and feminine women that exist in the world. And so if you want a man that you want that is worth a shit, he can probably go bag one and just deal with her. So you need to also, as a woman, be on your P's and Q's if you want a worth a shit man and become fit and feminine before you address him, not somehow be fat and mean. And then when you get with it, somehow you think you're going to get with the dude and then flip the whole cycle. And now you're going to defat yourself and be a nice person. That's not how it works. So, like I said, if you not coming to the table fit, feminine, and friendly for especially a young nigga that got his head together, that's above most young men and most older niggas, you better come to the table correct. I don't understand, like, where you expect a good nigga, upstanding potential, nigga and a man, and you not coming correct on Front Street. That don't make no sense.
That's one of the issues is that they will still put their penis inside that thing.
Who would put their penis inside that thing?
The men.
The men? A lot of men will.
We see a lot. That is the issue. So this is when we go back to what Browns was saying. So if men would stop putting a thing inside of these raggedy ass women, they would have to change their raggedy ass ways. They be like, bitch, I can't get no man. I gotta take my ass to the gym. That's what they would say.
Huh?
Bitch, my fucking coochie stink. I need to go to the goddamn doctor. Nobody wanted to. I tried to get with this man, and then he took a sniff and he ran away. She was going to change. She go take a shower.
That's not how that works. Unfortunately, I wish it did work like that. That if they compartmentalize information correctly, like, hey, he really doesn't want me. He just wants my box. And that I really need to see who they are putting a ring on and what they look like, how they move, how they think. And if I want it from this guy, then I need to exhibit certain things that he likes and wants in a wife, and not just a hole that he's just willing to use. if you the problem still seems to be a woman issue, that you don't have a baseline understanding of men, you don't really care to understand men, you don't care to actually care about men. So I don't understand how you expect to have good outcomes when translating a relationship with a man. Like, you can't really compartmentalize any of his actions correctly. You think it's something else when it's not. You think it's deeper. You think it's that, based off of what real world information. You've been hurt once.
Yes, that's her experience, and the man got to be able to mine through all that. I never said this shit was going to be easy, but he got to be able to express what's going on in real time and say, "Hey, babe, what you seeing right now is delusional," but don't use those words. You got to say, "Hey, so this is what happened. What is your thoughts on how this moved?" Okay, so now we are in the same boat. This is a foundation of this conversation. Let's mine out this conversation, because most of the time, men and women become completely different.
Am I going to have to train and teach them? Is that what you're telling me?
You have to, no matter who you deal with, no matter what the human being is, you got to train and teach them to deal with you. And they are training to teach you how to deal with them.
No, it seems like I got to train and teach them to be a woman.
No, you got to train them and teach them how to deal with you.
So to be
each one of us got our nuances.
A feminine woman, I have to train her to be that.
No, you don't train her to be feminine. No.
So I have to train her to take care and care about her health.
No.
So I have to train her to be friendly, to be a nice person.
By the way, how you move, yes.
So when I met her, for example, if when I met her, she can be mean.
No.
So I shouldn't have to train her how to do any of these things. She should just be these things, and when I deal with her, it would translate.
No. So, for example, I don't want to keep using her, but Venus, for example, a lot of people will look at her as somebody that is not friendly, and to me, she is friendly as hell. She's very easy for me to talk to. But for the most part, she goes to other spaces. They be like, "Oh, see, this is the type of woman we talking about." This is what I hear. They always trying to attack and assassinate her character. I don't notice those things because I move a certain way. I present myself a certain way. So she present herself to me in the same manner. So even this idea of these aggressive women that's in Brooklyn, in Brownsville, New York, I will go to Brownsville, New York, talk to these same said women that are super aggressive, because New York women are the most aggressive. They ain't being aggressive with me. They're not going to be calling me bro. What's up, bro? They're not going to do that with me. I was like, "Hey, ma'am, that ain't happening." And she's going to start changing the way how she speak and interact with me.
Because you're from New York. You have a level of empathy for New York women. If I'm not from New York and I go up there and I'm experiencing them for the first time, and I'm like, this is not what I think a woman should act like and move and process information, and I don't want this, you can't be with me. And
let me give you a different person.
Be with me.
Let me give you a different person. My girl, Robin M. and Sugar Bun, we could be in a 10-year relationship. I had no problem. They'll never curse me out. We'll be fine. She'll put on all the wigs she wants, and we'll have not one issue. Even though in the chats, people be like, "Oh, Robin M. Sugar Bun saying this and that third." If I was to meet those women in person, I wouldn't have no problem with them. Ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. It's because of who I am as a human being.
I said arrogance.
That's what?
I would say arrogance, because in the same breath, I just think they just act how they ever want to act with people they like. If they didn't know you, they probably not. They didn't know me, probably not. But for the most part, they do know us. So they're definitely not going to give me respect if they met me. They would give you respect because you give them a show to talk their shit and have women on the panel that also agree with them and allow them to talk their shit. So
that's not true. That's not true. You want to know why? Because when Robin M. first started coming to my show, she used to be cooking my ass up. And she disagreed with me a lot and often. Sugar Bum too. She would be like, "Sharon is a ex-bandit." No problem with them saying that. That's the difference, though. But they don't be disrespectful. They just call them what they see as it is. And I've never been disrespectful to them. I'm just saying.
I don't get disrespected by, like you said, in the real world, by hood women. I don't get that. They actually like me. But in the same breath, I know what it is on here. And like I said, they know me. And that's why I wouldn't get it. But if they didn't know me, and that's why I know they're capped, because they have a bias. Like, I agree with you. It really, I mean, but in the same breath, I lived in New York. I've dealt with New York women. I know what they're like. And then, yeah, most of them I've ever dealt with had a little sass to them. But in the same breath, I've dealt with it. I've entertained it. And I know that it's not for me. And I've accepted that I'm not going to keep giving them grace and finally prioritize the standards that I want and expect that from the jump. So
that's a good point as well. The dating pool rose reactions. What is P's and Q's, Sway?
I don't know what P's and Q's. What did I say? She
It's-
doesn't know what P's and Q's. Like the saying on his P's and Q's.
I'm pretty sure that's what she meant. Yeah.
What?
You better be on your P's and Q's, Sway.
Honestly, I don't even remember what it's for. I feel like I'm spacing. I feel like I should know. I feel like I do know. P's and Q's.
It's like the same thing as dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Brownsville, New York. He says,
it does stand for something.
Yeah. Dope combo. Shout out to Sharon and Sway. PNL.
Now, what does that mean?
PNL?
I feel like that's some.
I'm not really sure. He gonna have to reiterate that.
I feel like he was making fun of us. Like he was calling us sus or something.
Nah. He don't joke like that.
You know.
Peace.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
There you go.
I didn't even read it. I just thought about it. Now Jabba got it, but I didn't even read it. But yeah, I was thinking like
I knew you was gonna get it. I knew he was gonna get it.
I was thinking about what would Brownsville say. That's what I literally said in my brain. What would he say?
Peace and love. Yes, absolutely. So I think so men got to start moving a certain way so they can get the type of woman that they're looking for. Most of these men are not moving in a righteous way or a manly way, and that's why they get in manly women. And this is why it's an uptick in women being more aggressive. That's why it's an uptick in women smoking more weed. They saying bro, they bigger rappers. All these things, they are uptick in crime. Is because of all the financial burden that they got to take. 40% of women.
I'm still here.
40% of women are the breadwinners in the home nowadays. And this is why we have this crazy shift.
I think that's a choice, though. Because in the same breath, like I said, why can't these women go get a man that makes more money than them? Because they exist. They exist. So that's on you if you can't go get them. I've seen, met, and interacted with multiple baddies. The idea that I couldn't bag one of them is my fault. Not like I didn't have the chance, the opportunity. They just didn't want me. Or I just didn't do a good enough job. Or I just didn't want them myself. It's a choice. So I think, these women, they've interacted. They boasted so well, like, especially when you get them on their shit. They'll boast how many engagements they've had. They can get married tomorrow. They got all these type of men hitting them up on their DMs and yada, yada, yada. So if you can get a man, go get a man. But you obviously, you don't have one for a reason because you can't get the one you want. But they exist. And that's all it is. They just mad that they can't get the one they want, and vice versa for the men. They are mad that they can't get the woman they want. And sometimes, like you said, it is inflated to where they are in their life. They want a woman to be the best of everything while they in their lowest position. And like, if she can't rock with me at my lowest, then I don't want her. Nigga, you a bum. So if I'm gonna raise a good-headed, good daughter that's going to be elevated and more better in life than most women, I don't want to be with no bum ass nigga. You're bugging. Do better if you want a good, above average in all aspects woman. Because right now, unfortunately, the bar is set low.
So here's the next thing. Most men, what I'm encountering, most men that when they are at their lowest and they find a woman that's at a decent level or even at her highest, they do not respect that woman long term. because they feel like, why are you with me and I'm such a bum? They look at that
What?
woman sideways. Most
So
men,
that's an insecurity issue with the man. That ain't got nothing to do with the woman. But that's not what happened in most case scenarios.
it does.
Re-
Most men, when they are at their worst and they go ahead and find a woman that is doing better than them, they wind up resenting that woman for finding him at his worst, because they like, oh shit, you treated me kindly and I'm a bum. They look at them strange. Why? I don't know. What's
There's
up,
no way
beloved?
there's
What
no
up,
way you can
Terrell?
what's going on, ladies? I appreciate y'all for coming through. There's no way you can quantify that, by the way.
We have a
There's literally no way you can quantify.
We have a recent example of it, Sway.
An example is not a way to quantify most, sir. You said most situations is like this, and you have no way to quantify this as most, sir. So we'll leave that alone, that it happens, fine, but it ain't. You can't say that it's most. And I get we get into these type of conversations on these panels where we like to say most of this or whatever that, but what you just said is not quantifiable.
So the reason why I can, but it's because all we gotta do is start asking men, how do you feel as a man when you can't protect, provide for you and your family, which if it's your woman, children, whatever? Most men would say, I feel less of a man. This is what men say.
What you said is they start to resent their woman.
Absolutely.
That is not them resenting their woman. That is the insecurity amongst themselves, resenting themselves. Only time they resent a woman is if they start trying to throw it in their face and use it as some type of like shaming tactic against a man. But for the most part, men internalize those things. They don't start resenting the woman because she's doing good in life. Only time they start resenting her is if she starts throwing it in his face.
Hey, listen,
that's not a tendency of a man to shame the woman.
This is how we know it happens. Men do it in these spaces.
Brother,
if a woman starts to
don't go into this disingenuous in these spaces. You talking to me now?
Because you don't want me to talk about the
no, you can do it, but I'm seeing where you're going, and I'm not going to let you hype your brain up to start going off the deep end.
What I'm saying, we ask men, do you feel less of a man if you ain't provided and protected the way how you feel like it? They were clearly, most men would say, no, I do not. Because we had conversations with men, and they all said it. So
most men in this space,
most men in this space, and
niggas that y'all be shaming and calling rim brothers and shit like that, when it's only like 1,000 of them.
And if you walk outside, also you will see the same rhetoric would be said. Most men do not feel like they are their full potential if they cannot provide a certain level of provision and protection. They don't.
I think they just get shamed by their woman for not being able to, and that's where it comes from.
Absolutely not. Because we know women would do whatever they can to build a man up. Women are more willing to lift
men are literally Sharon, I don't think you understand, and maybe because you're not hip, I'm gonna put you on game a little bit.
Okay.
Men are literally demonized for trying to achieve the things that y'all want them to achieve to be able to do for women. They
not for women, so that's the thing.
It's not for their family, whatever, their family, or
no, it's not for their family. It's for
them fucking selves. Whatever.
There you go. You gotta do it
for themselves, right? So when they're interacting with a woman and trying to develop a family and be a leader and a provider and a protector, they're called controlling, possessive, narcissistic. That's gonna make me barefoot and pregnant. All these other things. So it's like you're literally demonized. Men have literally been demonized for the things that you guys want to hold them accountable for.
Perfect. And this is what I was talking about earlier. This goes right into what I was talking about earlier. Me, when they tell me that, I say, yes, I am. I am controlling. Yes. But I'm controlling in a good way. You manipulate. Yes, I'm going to manipulate you in a great way. I'm going to make you better. I'm going to control it. I'm going to control the scene so you can be better than what you was when we got here. Yes. So
Understand?
yes, I'm
You understand?
controlling.
You can
Yes, I'm
say,
manipulative.
okay, we're talking about
So that is
you
it.
again.
So this is
We're
what I'm
not
saying.
talking
So that,
about most men again. When I told you in the society they grew up, where they accepted the idea that they're not trying to hurt women and make them feel no type of way, and they're going along to get along to make them feel good. And when all the shit that they told them that they aren't allowed to be and all the things they should do is not getting them the outcomes they get, what do you think the hell happens? Like
and that and that's exactly what I'm saying. So these men, they allow themselves to be shamed for being the greatness that they are. When you're attempting to be great, you cannot allow somebody to shame you for being great. Somebody cannot shame me for being great, even though they try to do it every single day.
But
Oh,
if they
Sharon, you
telling
think
you
that you
you
have it, this,
doing
that, and
that
the
is
third?
not a good thing and that is a bad thing and it makes you misogynistic, you wouldn't think that's you being great to do those things.
And that is the issue.
But
You cannot allow somebody to say that you're controlling and make them say it is a bad thing. Nobody, yes, I
society
am.
is telling
What
us
I'm
that
saying is this again.
from a
If
young
somebody
boy.
calls me controlling, I do not look at it as a negative thing.
Society, that's fine. You grew up as you're 40, whatever you are. Society is telling my generation, I'm sure the millennials generation, and possibly a bit of your generation, that all the things that it takes to be a man, it's toxic,
Mm-hmm.
it is misogynistic,
Mm-hmm.
and it should be thrown out and it rebuked. The way you think and move, if you was to push off your ideals on like I'm a control and manipulate or whatever the fuck, they would still take you as a hyperly toxic masculine, not masculine, misogynistic woman. I mean, man. Sorry, I messed that up twice.
It's understood. So no, they would not, because I would not allow them to, because I could actually
Allow.
articulate.
Did you just
I
say
would not
allow?
allow.
Allow.
Yes,
Wow. You
because
can't allow them to do anything, sir. Allow. Wow, ladies. You heard him say allow. He said he's not gonna allow you ladies to do something. That is crazy. You hear this man tell you that he's not gonna allow you to do something?
and guess what
Amazing.
happens? And you know what happens? They love it. They
Hell
like
no.
Sharon. Yes, please
No.
control me more. What
Hell
else
no.
you want me to do? Don't pick up your goddamn clothes. Leave it on the damn floor. I'll pick it up, babe. I'm like, okay, you got it. That's what happens because I'm able to communicate what I'm controlling, right? So if she says I'm controlling, she's not understanding, and she's saying that I'm controlling in a negative way. I can articulate my way and say, hey, look, this is where I'm trying to get us to go. Do you think those things is negative? And she's most likely going to say, no, those are not negatives. I like all those things that you say. All right, so for us to get there, this is how we got to move. So she's going to throw her 2 cents in. Hey, maybe we could tweak this and tweak that. If it's a good idea, let's run with it. Yes, that is great. I'm glad you said that, babe, because I didn't even see that. This is why I love you so goddamn much. Now come here and bring that ass over here. Shake that ass, girl. And you know
So do you think most men think like you?
I think they can, but they will have to change their philosophy.
Then I would just be average.
But what I'm saying is that they can. They have to
Women
change
don't
their
want
philosophy.
average.
Right now, a lot of young men philosophy is more catered to remedial rhetoric than to what reality is.
Y'all say some remedial shit too.
It might sound like it, because like what I said though,
No,
like
when
me
y'all
saying
say
that,
slippery slope and y'all go by the least common denominator and how they might interpret it, y'all literally had Brownsville up here talking to the slippery slope of women not holding themselves accountable for their own actions and saying, yeah, it's the man's fault because they're the leaders. Yeah, it's the man's fault because it's a man. He did this to me. Did nothing wrong in the relationship. Bro, this is. Did you watch? You probably didn't. Did you watch Fatty's panel? B Love is what they would call a man.
amazing. That's what she is. She's
B Love is
amazing.
what B Love. I like it, actually B Love, but B Love is more of a
Beautiful woman.
traditionalist in the sense of where she's trying to be out of her life. That's why she agrees. And Shiesty Bum and them will call her a mammy and shit like that, which I think is dumb because they're the mammies. But I'll leave that alone. All I'm saying is that most men don't think like you.
Most men cannot communicate. That's the issue, because they want to
most
attack.
men can provide and protect their woman to the same capacity as you can?
They can, yes.
They don't have as much money as you. How can they provide as much?
Again, but I didn't start off that way.
No, I'm talking about most men. Can they make as much money as you right now?
So the thing is, what makes me a man? Like, yes, some of the things that who I am allowed me to make a higher income. However, a lot of things that makes me a man doesn't have anything to do with income neither. Because I also have a
No, it
vision. I
just has
also
your
have
it just helps your
leadership.
ability to
I
provide.
also read a lot. I also have a broad knowledge of things. So therefore, when I'm having a communication, whatever woman that I'm deciding to try to court, I will be able to move her a certain way, and me and her will be
So
able to make
you're an
a
above
decision.
average man, yes?
No, I can't be. No, I don't agree with that.
You think
I
you're average?
think I built myself up beyond average, yes. But I
So
started off
you're
average
right
as
now is Sharon Bracey just talking to me as how he thinks and move and how he could just be doing this with young women that is an above average man.
in these spaces, yes, I'm above
In
average.
reality, in the world, yes. You make more than 1% of the world. So
However, that's because of communication.
it doesn't matter. You're still
It
above
matters,
average.
but it
No,
does
it
matter
don't.
because
No, it doesn't.
communication
You're above average, Sharon, in all aspects. If you want to listed that whole bunch of different shit just now. So
however,
there's no however. Are you
yes.
above average, yes or not?
However, the things that made me who I am today, right now, I learned it through reading, through learning the different skills of leadership, and not just out there allowing things to just happen. No, I see what I need to do, and I go ahead and I go get it. I don't just talk it, I also put action behind it. So you have to learn how to be a leader. You have to learn how to be sophisticated. You got to learn how to communicate with a woman. You got to learn how to communicate with CEOs. You got to learn how to communicate. You got to learn how to goddamn take an interview. You got to learn all these skills. All these skill sets is bunched into me, but I had to learn them.
Are
It
you above
wasn't just
average right now, yes
ingrained
or
in
no?
me.
Are you above average? Because if you say yes, that means a man can only get respect from women if he's above average.
I can't say that though. So for me, like it's hard for me to say that I'm not above average because I worked very hard.
You should
So
get
for me,
respected for that.
like,
You should get respected for that.
but I
You can
don't.
only. You don't. You
No,
just said
absolutely.
you did.
They be disrespecting me all day, every day. Hey, sweet. Hey, hey, Sway, how far would
Oh
people
my
go to prove a
god!
point? Sway, how far would people go to prove a point? I don't know. I can't say it.
Jesus
I can't.
Christ!
Sway, I can't say it. I cannot.
Oh my
I can't.
days!
No, I can't let you pigeonhole me to that. I can't say it. No, I can't. No, I can't say it. No.
This is what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. These moments, because I feel like I can't really get to these moments unless I do a 1v1. It's too much going on. People wanted to chime in, cut off. Like it's just the train of thought gets lost into something else. Like people get offended about something that we weren't even trying to focus on in what we said. So that was good. Oh
I couldn't bring the words out to say, Sway. No, I can't say it. God damn it. Let me see what we had with the like. That was great. All right, ain't too bad. Make sure y'all hit Sway Cash App is pinned to the top.
That's fine. They don't gotta hit it.
Hit the Cash App, hit the super chat, share the goddamn button, hit the share button. That was great. That was a good one. I couldn't do it, Sway. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I wasn't expecting you to, but as long as we know, you know. So if you know. That was good. I mean, I think that was good. I don't know. I mean, I don't have too many more questions right now. I think I want to save some for another show, but I got you. I got you. I don't know how many times I got you. There's definitely some other topics I'm going to get triggered by on your show. I'm sure I can think of one in the last 3 days or last week, that we can just chop it up on. But or tomorrow, whatever show you have tomorrow.
We're gonna do this again Wednesday.
If we do this again Wednesday, we can talk about what you talk about tomorrow on Wednesday. Because I'm sure I'm going to think of something.
Yeah, let's do this again. Let's do this again on Wednesday. Sway, he gotta go to sleep. If y'all want me to, y'all just let me know in the chat. I'll open up the chat if y'all want to chop it up real quick and say how Sway cooked me up. That's fine with me,
They're gonna be on your side, man, and I expect them to be. But like I said, if you know, and that's all that matters. That's why I just wanted to do it with you, because it doesn't matter to me about anybody else, what they think, because the only person I'm talking to right now is you. So that's how I feel about it.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna do this again Wednesday night around the same time, most likely 7, between 7 and 8. But I think we're gonna lock in on 8. 8 seems like it's a good time because they could go to sleep. So, it's just as what I'm saying. So because they try to fight it. They go to sleep at 7. They go to sleep at 7:30, but they fight it for at least an hour. Then all of a sudden they gotta pee 10 times. Oh, I gotta go to all right. It'd be like bloop, bloop, 2 drops come out.
I went to a barber. He said there was a kid that comes in there that anytime he was like, "You ready?" He goes takes a piss first. So he when he comes in, he's like, "Hey, you gotta pee," because he's like, "Just go pee before I call you, come to my chair," type. So yeah, kids do that. I don't know why, but they just hold it in until it's the last minute.
No, they don't want to go to sleep. They don't want to do what they got to do. It's just part of being a child, I guess. It's part of the growing pain, especially when it's time to go to bed. That's when they get their highest and utmost energy. It's ridiculous, actually.
I'm not ready for it. I'm really not. I am, but I'm not. I need more space.
To be honest, ain't no such thing as ready.
I just need more space. Can I get a little bit more space?
Yeah, like, you having space I ain't gonna lie to you. Having space is key.
Like, I just need a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more rooms for things. Right now it ain't it. So, I appreciate you, Sharon. I'll be listening, man. Thank y'all. We're gonna do this again Wednesday, man.
I'm gonna leave it open for like a few more minutes to see if anybody hit the link. They ain't gonna come and hit the link.
I mean, I can stay up here if need be until you get your first one. I don't mind. But in the same breath, do you really not think that treating women like children is equating in terms of this accountability? Like, you can't see the comparison on like children just kind of do, and like you said, they kind of follow the leadership of who they're under, and so the idea is not applicable to a woman.
So my only problem is that when men do say you got to treat women like children, is that you have to have extreme patience with children, and you got to be able to explain with children. And these men do not want to explain. They want to say, "Hey, do as I say because I'm the man. You gotta trust me blindly." Your kids do not trust you blindly. They develop trust over the times. And they listen to what you say. They say, "Hey, what does this mean? What does that mean? What is this thing? What is this? Why we gotta go outside? Why I gotta put a jacket on? Why I gotta brush my teeth?"
But if they equate that sentiment of how you supposed to treat children, and they do that, does that make sense that you should treat women like children?
The only problem is, like, I could understand if they want to treat women like children, then you need to treat them with patience. You need to nurture them. You need to respect them. You need to allow them to speak. You got to let them blossom. You got to let them build up. You got to let them grow up. You got to let them grow up. And men, when I hear them talk, they're not willing to do that.
Is that something men should do with their women?
Yes. If that's what we're talking about, that sense.
So men should treat women like children.
If we are talking about in the nurturing
sense, the way you just described
in the sense that I've described it, yes, you should treat all human beings that way. So the problem is that I don't think that children have a place. Like, you know how they got that saying, stay in the child's place? I don't have that shit in my household. Like, I don't think I'm raising children. I'm raising adults. So how I look at it, I'm not raising children. None of my kids, I look at them as children. I look at them as human beings.
I agree with you to an extent, but there's a level of like, you wouldn't know until you know. You know what I mean? Like you can't even comprehend. I don't even think you can really comprehend what's going on right now because that's not necessarily the bubble. Like I'm not trying to pop your bubble too early. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And in the same breath, I think you can still be real with them, honest with them, talk to them like a normal person, but they don't need to be exposed to everything.
Hmm.
Like I think everything kind of you got it. Like it's like you have to gradually get them there. I think even we even talk about like weight loss. Like if they're 300 pounds and they just lose it all, is a lot worse for you health wise if you gradually get down to where you want to go because it allows your body to adjust to its new shape and it doesn't have a worse rebound if you decide you slip up. Same with children. I think you can gradually grow them into certain things and it'll be fine. But the idea that you have to like throw them into the deep end on everything, nah, I don't
So
think
yeah,
that's
so like when I say I'm raising adults, I am giving it to them gradually. I'm slow feeding them because it takes a long time for children to go through their different stages. Like from one through five, they little narcissists. It's all about me, 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 and you gotta allow them to be that. They're gonna tell you no a lot. They're gonna give you a lot of pushback, and you gotta allow it to happen because this is how they
really.
develop. Hell yeah, it's all about them, and they don't give a shit about you. You gonna bump your head up on the floor. That 3-year-old don't give a shit. They gonna just keep on playing with their toys. They don't give a fuck about you. But then when they turn about like 6, 7, 8, that's when they start to get empathy. Then they start to understand. You start to see emotions coming out them a little bit more. You can see it in their eyes. You'll see them start to change their eyes. Some kids do it a little bit
At,
earlier, but
at, at what age can you start making them do laundry?
yeah, yeah, you gotta teach them empathy. What'd you say?
At what age can you make them start doing laundry?
We try to figure that out still. No, you can really do it around like 8, 9 though. 8, 9,
I'm
they
about
can
to say
still
I
have
need
it.
them to learn how to start folding their own shirts and pants, and I'll help them obviously, but I think like they need to start doing some regular shit a lot earlier than whatever. Like when you're in fourth grade, you can definitely fold your own shirt.
Yeah, no,
I
it,
mean,
it depends. It absolutely depends. But yeah, kids when they very young, they don't give a shit about their parents at all. It's only around like 6, 7, 8. That's when they start to be more like a human being. But 1 to 5, they terrorists. Straight up terrorists. If you get lucky and have a kid that just was born with empathy and all that, just thank your lucky stars and just appreciate it.
I think I just want them like there's certain things like folding your clothes and brushing your teeth and other like tidy things. It also alludes to a level of time management. As much as like you, if you think about it, when they become an adult, they have to be able to manage these certain things in their life, and they have to schedule a certain like method and remedy that they do throughout their life to make it make sense. And so it's like I have this time, this amount of time, and I already know what it takes to get this done, and I have like muscle memory to plan this for this and knock it all out because that's
Well,
what
I'm
I'm
telling you
used to.
this: kids do not have no sense of time until they probably like 16.
No, I'm talking about is that you do this from their six until they leave your house. So it is a muscle memory they've developed for the past 10 to 12 years until they leave your home. And so now when they go to college, it's not like it's like hard for them to think about doing their laundry. It's like something that they just always think
And
about and
and
always
I
do.
and another thing I would like to say is that most of the time your children are not going to display all the great things that you taught them to you. They're going to do it to everybody else. They're going to show it up to everybody else, but to you, you're going to get the worst of your children at all times because this is how they learn.
Do
So I
you
think
call
that's
them out on that?
huh?
Do you ever call them out on that?
No, because it's a part of their learning curve.
I
They
call
test.
them out on certain things. Like, I'm like, do you realize that you exhibit your best self around strangers and never around your family, the people that you care the most about? Somehow you can get right when you're around them, but as soon as I ask you a question, it's an attitude.
No,
I'm
the
the one
reason
that's
the reason
supposed
the
to
reason
die
the
for you,
reason
and
why
I get an
yeah
attitude when you get home.
the reason why I don't do that is because I know they trust me, and so that's why they give me the so-called worst of them because they trying to learn how to navigate. So with other people, they're not trying to learn nothing from. So I'm gonna see them truly, their good side and their bad side, and most of the time I'm gonna see their bad side because they trust me so much. They willing to allow me to fix their bad side at all times. So they're gonna try all the negative shit on me first.
I agree with you to that
So
extent,
I
but
don't
at
never
the
make them
same,
feel guilty about being transparent. Never.
I think my dad either never really does either. He got heated one time. He's like, "Stop being a jerk."
I mean, it does. I mean, as the person get older, you're gonna have to start changing it too. So, like, if they like my 20-year-olds, they get spoken to differently than the 9 and the 3-year-old.
Bitch.
Right. I can tell that to the older ones. What's up, Trinidad T? How you doing? Was you enjoying the conversation tonight?
Your mic.
We can't hear you.
It's not muted, but it's not coming through either. I think you got to adjust your input setting on your phone. Make sure your input setting is on your phone. No, ma'am. Cannot hear you. If you go to the settings, you can go to input for audio and make sure it's plugged into your mic.
Sway sound like he's a help desk.
Well, I told you that if earlier, if I was
you really can't hear me, y'all. You guys really can't hear me.
We can hear you now.
Whatever you just did, remember
we can
that.
Hear you now.
Yes, whatever you just did, remember that you need to do that to be able to talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I was listening to your conversations. Hi, Mr. Sharon. Hi, Mr. Sway. Mr. Sway, you sound very, very mature. You sure you 25? You just got an old soul?
No, I'm definitely 48.
Well, you sound very.
I'm 48 years old. I just tell people I'm 25 because I like dating younger women.
No, that's fine. You're not 45, but that's fine.
I am. I just tell people I'm 25 because I like dating younger women, and it makes more sense for my living situation.
Fair. So, Mr. Sharon, y'all tell me all the time that I change the topic and whatnot. I watched a show earlier of yours that I didn't get to see. I try to keep up with you, like your shows. It was about child support, and I wanted to talk about that.
Okay.
I do not believe in child support. I do not believe in putting a third person or a third party in me and his business. It's between us. And I'm going to stick to my word. I have to take accountability. I can't put the blame all on him. And I'm sorry if I'm changing the topic. However, what I do, like, that's like me riding a bike. If I fall down, I got to get back up and ride the bike again. So therefore, I'm trying to say is, no dependent, no nothing. You there, you're not. This is my responsibility. I'm taking accountability for myself. I'm not doing all of that. Now you guys was talking about assistance. Now let me explain this. I was on assistance for food stamps. I wasn't qualified for the health care and all the other stuff. I only qualified for the food stamps while I was in college.
Okay.
And after that, because they ask too much, they in too much in your business anyway. You don't want all of that. Ooh, it was so disgusting. Was I embarrassed? Yes, but I had to fight for it because I was, young and being young, having my own apartment at the time. So, fast forward on that, I received the emergency food stamps, and they gave me the food stamps each month. And then 6 months, every 6 months, they stay in your business. I said, "Oh no, this ain't working for me." I got off of it, and I did what I had to do. That's it. I mean, his father was here.
So, what is the point of this? What is the point of this story? Where we go?
No, I was going reflecting back to your show on child support.
Is it just a statement, or you wanted to ask us questions?
Yeah, I wanted to put my little 2 cents in. I know I'm late with it, but yeah, I wanted to put my little 2 cents. I'm sorry.
I think there should be a level of child support, but not to.
I don't believe in child support. I believe in two
So
I
adults.
think it's case by case. I don't think it's a like thing you should just terminate all. I think we should just understand it a little bit more and move it to more of a
so
niche
yeah.
argument
I
instead of
can't
a
hear you.
So
just
Trinidad
simply.
T, are you saying that in America we should abolish child support system altogether, or are you saying it's just for you?
No, not just for me. I'm saying, just like Mr. Sway said,
No.
it's case by case. So everybody has a different case.
So no, you
So
missed what I'm asking you.
I can't.
Should they get rid of child support?
No, I wouldn't say that, but
All right.
it has
Okay.
to be a certain. To me, you can't have a vendetta. Like, okay, if me and Mr. Sway had a child together, I
Okay,
wouldn't.
we understand what you was trying to say. We understand, like you saying that you don't agree with it per se because some people use it as a vendetta. We
I
understand you.
think
Shiesty Bum, she says you're a
that we can't
DV
reach that.
victim.
We
Why
can't reach
would
that.
women listen to you? And
That's
she
fucked up.
says, "What you say, Trinidad?"
Fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch.
I don't think she should be around young women. What? Oh, she answered
Fuck
that
you,
as
bitch,
well.
and your mama. It's one for
Yeah.
you and one for your mama.
Let me welcome Brownsville, New York into the conversation. What up, Brownsville?
What up, cuzzo? Peace and love, man.
How
Peace and
you?
love to the Queen, Trinidad T. Peace and love to you, Sharon, and also you, Sway. Y'all had a dope conversation, man. And I'm glad that y'all are making it a reoccurring episode because we need more of these dope conversations online, man. So shout out to y'all for having a
Mhm.
conversation. I just wanted to clear up one thing for Sway, right? Because I think he kind of got caught up in the accountability,
Mm.
right? He thought that I was actually shifting accountability from women to men, when in all actuality, Sway, the accountability originally fell on the man for the problem, right? And because we failed to hold men accountable, now women have become complicit in the immorality. And now what men like to do is just put all the accountability now on women for the issue that was created by men. For example, if I go into your land, Sway, let's say you got a house and you got land, right? And I go into your land and I dig a whole bunch of 6-foot ditches and 8-foot ditches, right? And I don't tell you about it. I just dig the ditches. And then one day you come out of your house and you fall into the ditch, right? Now,
Mhm.
obviously, you got to hold yourself accountable because you're complicit. You should have watched out. You should have watched where you was going. You should have paid attention to your surroundings, right? However, on the flip side, why did I dig the ditches in the first place?
The
So
the only
I
issue
say,
with that one is that in that scenario, it could be a man doing it for another man. Like it's not like a woman coming out and then falling into the ditches. It's like me, I'm coming into a world of ditches that I didn't make.
Mm.
And somehow I'm being held accountable for all these fucking ditches, and they just been here before I was born, and it's been here before Sharon was born, and before the between us was like Aaron O's and they just been here, and for somehow we're like, nah, because now you're here, you have to be held accountable for all these ditches that somehow you didn't dig, but they still here and hurting women somehow, and it's your fault even if you didn't dig them. And I'm like, no, I didn't participate in this, nor do I agree to it. I tell them it's wrong, but they say, fuck you, nigga, I don't like you. And then they still go fall in the ditch. You literally were like, yo, there's a ditch over there. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you, nigga. I do what I want. I'm strong and independent. And boom, and fucking in the ditch is like, it's your fault. And then cry away, and then I'm gonna keep going, and then fall into another ditch. It's your fault, and then falls into another. It's your, and it keeps blaming me. I'm like, bitch, you keep walking forward, falling in ditches. I'm telling you, it's one right there. Like, but you don't respect me, so it's fuck you.
right.
So
And
then
I
I stopped caring.
understand that, Sway, but let me ask you this, right? So let's say you find a woman that you want to marry, right? And y'all get married, right? As far as your ideology, in terms of the gender role, who's the head of the household in that situation?
In terms of final decision making, I guess you would say me.
Right. Now, I didn't ask, I didn't say what my ideology was, right? I said according to your ideology, which is very important, right? Because now you have put on the mantle of yourself leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I was taught all throughout my military service and all throughout my law enforcement career, that leaders have to lead from the front, and the initial accountability will always fall on the leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so since we have that same ideology, then obviously in terms of the comparison or the metaphor that we use with ditches, right? It's up to the men, right, to repair those ditches that was created by men so that our woman can start to acquiesce in the way that we're moving in terms of righteousness,
I can
right?
agree to you, Brownsville, but I just don't think the only part that I get wrapped up is the human part, where I don't think the bestest of leaders, the best leader cannot lead the shittiest follower, especially a person that does not want to follow and does not respect you or care about what you have to say. Like, I could be Elon Musk in this bitch. If a bitch think I'm sorry, I can be Elon Musk in here, and if a woman thinks I'm goofy or I'm saying something remedial rhetoric or whatever, they don't care. I can be an uprighteous, God-fearing man, but they think that that's toxically masculine, which a lot of young women my age think. A lot of this, I was telling Sharon earlier, a lot of the stuff y'all subscribe to, a lot of young women would think that that's toxically masculine, and you're a narcissist, controlling, and should be thrown in jail, and you're the problem for all women. And so when I like I said, this is a level of subjectivity, and I guess the age of woman you're talking about. But I don't disagree with you. I just wish that they would actually listen and do the right thing. So when I was alluding to Sharon earlier about the laws, I was like, where's the law for them? Because at the end of the day, something outside of us has to hold them accountable, because it's shown they have a choice and thought process that they're never going to go back to where they just think they have to listen to us because we're a man. They're never going to go back to that. So now we're here where we are. And unless you put a law in where it's saying, listen to men, then I don't know how a man is supposed to hold them accountable, quote unquote, other than leaving. And you
Well,
guys
here's
call that
here's
abandonment and other things like that.
so I'm glad you brought that up, and those are great points, right? But when in terms of toxic masculinity, right, that came into effect because of betrayal of trust, right? So you had men who decided to be leaders just by words and not by actions, right? And it was do as I say, not as I do. That was the philosophy. And they betrayed the trust of so many women till it got to the point to where they're calling that behavior toxic masculinity, because basically what you are is a walking, living, breathing hypocrite at this point. So why should I ever have to follow anything that you say when you don't even follow what you say, right? And the evidence of that is so many men that we see come up on these platforms and engage in the conversations. They're doing the exact same thing that these women are pointing out as,
The
hey, this is hypocritical.
the only pushback I have in terms of that statement is the idea of running with that, of what toxic masculinity is, because it's not even what you guys talk about and what you guys exhibit. Toxic masculinity as a term was a term to describe the character traits of violent, murderous criminals, and typically those are going to be men. So when they're trying to give this term to a psychological perspective on when they're coming up with this, it was to describe those men. But then it got ran with in the media to describe men who want to be leaders and authoritative and stand on business and masculine and provide and protect and believe in gender roles, or a woman is a woman and a man is a man, or men and women aren't equal. If you think that you should give a woman chivalry, then obviously you think a man and woman aren't equal, and you are somehow misogynist.
Well, the
So
the, the problem is, Sway, you got to look at what happened and why toxic masculinity is now a thing. We had a big rise when it came to DV. We had a
would
big
you agree that
rise.
this is? Hold on, sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. But would you agree that this is all these like talking points is bigger than black people? It more likely started with the whites this toxic masculinity that was to describe white men, and then somehow it got us to we gravitated and kind of portrayed it in our own way. Like these terms didn't start with us; it started with the mothers, and then somehow we accepted them as well. Would you agree with that?
And I would totally concede to that. That's why when I talk, right, I don't put race or color into my conversation, right? I just focus on men, and that's all colors of men, because I realize that all men have the same issue, right? And that is because their morals, ethics, and value system has been completely corrupted to the point to where sex is number one, right? And when you have a value system that's that corrupted, then you're going to have what I described earlier as that trickle down effect, right? That's going to affect our communities, going to affect our societies, and then things are going to be toppled over and dismantled. So actually being a real man and a real leader is looked at as toxic masculinity only because a lot of men took on that name, but betrayed the trust of the people who were following them, right? So now you got more women who are teaching their daughters, well, no, don't follow this man because he's gonna lead you astray, right? Versus when you got men in the home who are doing the right thing, they understand, well, hey, I got to get a man and find a man like my father because he's moving the right way. And if I find that, then I'm willing to trust that individual. And now I'm willing to come up under the covering and come up under the subjection, right? But as
But
men, we have to understand, though, Sway, that that's not no longer is it going to be an automatic process, right? Because it's been so much of betrayal of trust that men have created out there that it's going to be very difficult for you per se to be able to get that as far as that role that you're supposed to have, right? So that's why when we come up on these platforms, it's very important how we communicate, and the way we communicate and the way we hold men accountable. It should be in a decent and in order way to where we should start with the foundation and then move on to women, right?
well, I hold men accountable. I actually hold all y'all niggas accountable. I call y'all old niggas. Um, I blame y'all for the bad products, and vice versa. For you can blame your parents too if you want to. If y'all bad products, you can blame your parents. Because in the same breath, like this level of the software is ingrained from them being as a child. When you're raised to think, hey, go to college to be able to protect yourself from a man instead of going to college to be able to add to a man in your family and get an education so you be able to develop your kids and bring other opportunities for your family, is no, use your brain and abilities and achievements to be selfish and be defensive and use it as a backup plan against all else. That mindset from a birth, and the idea that men ain't shit, black men ain't shit, or men are toxic, or whatever it is, like you're gonna get a certain level of response when they get to a certain age. And the women I'm dealing with have been ingrained since they was a child. Society has been reinforcing them this empowerment movement and all this other stuff. And like I said, it is deeper than that. And this is why young men are always speaking like y'all are. We are dealing with a different experience than what y'all grew up in. Y'all had a level of it, but it ain't what we at right now. Like it's nowhere comparison.
And I
Not
totally
even.
agree, because this is the last thing I say, because I know we got other people that want to join the conversation, right? The reason why it's like that is because when we were younger, when we were your age, there was no such thing as the Rim Brothers, right? The red pill, the incel, the manosphere. We didn't have all that nonsense, right? And what that has done, that has convoluted the dating pool in such a way that you got more and more young women and more older women telling their daughters, don't trust these men. Stay away from these men. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt right away.
But that
Make
was
them
happening
earn your
before
trust.
the Rim brothers though. Like that's been happening. Like you've been hearing all this since y'all been born. Like y'all age group has been hearing this about the women y'all grew up with was hearing the same shit from their mamas and aunties and grandmamas. Like It didn't start with y'all. I'm just saying that y'all are a byproduct, and unfortunately, y'all are my eight parents' age bracket. So I'm gonna blame y'all the same way because Gen Z is only 27 to 11. So if you're talking about us, more often than not, one of y'all Gen Xers is gonna be the age of our parent, and I'm gonna blame y'all. So that's just the unfortunate part about it. But all I'm saying is this is indoctrination, and it's something that I was born into. You developed a software, and when you got it booted up and out here in the world, you expected to function a way that you didn't program it to. Now, like, this is what they were programmed to think, and this is now we have to, now you're expecting the young men to somehow reprogram them in real time, and they don't respect what we got to say. They don't respect what we think. Most of us, if we ain't that nigga and got it like that, they don't care what we got to say, what we think, or how we move. For the most part, they're very selfish. They're not looking to get married. They're not looking to get children. Not right now, at least at my age, maybe in their 30s, but no, they don't. They're not. This is not what y'all, I don't understand. I don't think y'all get the product y'all have put out here. Not y'all too, not even Ruthless, but just as a whole, it's just a lot right now. And young men, I don't know what y'all ingrained into them. Any problems you see in them from them being soft or lazy or prioritizing this over the other. This is all things that was instilled in them so societally, through their family, through their peer groups, whatever the case may be. But this is now the product that we have.
And you're totally correct on that, Sway. And because on the young men that I mentor, they say the exact same thing. And the solution I give them is yes, times are a lot harder for you at this time. You know, it's going to be a lot harder for you to find a woman to marry because you're living in the age to where now you got to show and prove a lot more than I had to. And the reason is because, like you said, Sway, yes, our generation and the generations before us, we dropped the ball. We destroyed the value system to the point to where it's eroded to where you having to deal with this nonsense. So that's why I'm basically, my beck and call is for men like yourself to really get on the movement to realign the value system in a correct way. And that's going to make issues like this easier for yourself, because now when women start to see men by and large changing their value system and moving in a correct way, then they're going to acquiesce to that. And that's going to open up the levels of trust to where you won't find cooperation so difficult in your pursuit of a relationship. So peace and love to y'all, man. I'm going to drop the mic and give it to somebody else, man. But it was a dope conversation. I enjoyed hearing from you, Sway, and y'all need to do it a lot more, man. Peace and love.
I agree with what Brownsville said at his last statement, by the way. So
What's up, Ruthless? Good day. What's your thoughts?
Well, I've been parsimonious in all parties involved. But my greatest criticism is to the women, right? Because they have found a way through the system to implement their strategies in the gaining of monetary value without having to do all the work. So to Brownsville's point, I hear what he's saying, that how are we supposed to move with these women? And I am in agreement, but what I am saying is that reciprocity would be the management of how we got to move forward, right? It would be the very tool to gauge and to have some sort of leverage in how, so that we can then implement our strategies, as Sharon said earlier, the things I want to do and how I want to move. But we can't keep giving it to them for free, right? We can't just say keep giving. Oh, and I'm gonna keep paying for everything, and everything. And then when they're just ready to go, they just go. They have nothing to lose, right? They're winning on all fronts, which is developing a sanctimonious mindset, because they feel that they can get what they want without having to put the work in. And they are getting, for the most part, a lot of things. Men cash apping them $2,000, right? They're throwing $10,000 on them, right? They're DMing them, all this stuff. They're just men handing over, and even in the vetting process, right? In the courting and the dating process, men are financing and 98% of all these processes, right? And then on top of that, we're buying the men are buying the wedding ring, right? They're funding the whole wedding ring between $500 and $30,000, depending on your economic situation or how you feel about the woman. And then on top of that, they're paying for the wedding. So by the time he actually lands this woman, if this is the woman he's building with, he's already in over 50 bands. And his time, which is valuable, right? Setting up all the time so they can have a good time together, get to know each other.
What are you talking about, Ruthless?
Well, I'm just saying.
And before you answer what you're talking about, Shicey Bone got a question for you, Sway.
I have no idea, but appreciate you for the $2 ball.
Sway, traditional women shacking up and having sex. Are they?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
I think so. I think they're having sex in relationships.
And so, according to Ruthless, most men that are shacking up and having sex with a woman, he is attempting to take care of everything and buy her engagement ring and pay for the wedding. And that's why he is going to be 50 bands behind. I don't know who he's behind of because it's a relationship. So I'm not sure exactly who he's going to be.
Are you trying to point out things to be valued for as a man?
No, I was saying the Brownsville's point is what he's talking about, that men need to create value for women to follow, right? But here's the thing about it is we're already putting in far more valuable things than they are. They don't fund our time and process. We fund that.
I think men and women value different things. Are you valuing women for the exact same thing?
No, that's not what I'm saying. We don't want them to do the same thing.
Exactly.
I'm not advocating for us to do anything different.
So what are the things that you value enough to be able to do that for?
What he was saying is what women need to trust is all this trust and stuff that they need to follow behind us and get in line and all this stuff. But they are taking the financial ride all day long. Right? They're following behind a man who's paying for dating, courting, wedding, whatever you want to call it, right? The women are doing it. There are women out here that have men, and the men are funding from day one. Day one. Yeah, you're funding the time, right? You're not just going in the park every day.
So, Ruthless, what do you think that men should respect that's equal to that money that he spent? Because we do not want the same thing that we are given, right? Because we are not rim brothers.
Well,
if he's spending money on her, what is it that she's giving that is equivalent? Is what Sway is asking you.
Right. But I'm just giving this the overall.
Just say coochie, nigga.
Well, we know that that's a given, right?
So what? You're spending. Most men spend all that money so they can get coochie.
No. That's not it. That's not it. Because
so Ruthless, we are not understanding what you are trying to convey to us.
I heard it out because when you asked me a question, he jumped in and said another statement, right? So all I'm saying is this: to Brownsville point, saying that women don't trust us, they lost trust in us, they don't want to follow us, and I'm saying it's not true. Right? I just think they trust in the system and what the system allows them to benefit, as well as men allow them to benefit for the thing they have to do nothing for. And women are taking advantage of this opportunity. That's why they say six figures and all these things, because their demands and their things are coming in. Look, you got to pay for everything. Where you gonna take me? Let's go to McDonald's. Block, right? So they're demanding at a certain amount you need to take them at. Then they're saying you need to continue this to keep their attention. So, yeah, the women are demanding that you pay for damn near everything, all aboard, all of the above.
The real Pookie with the 5 balls. Sugar Bump be dropping 20 balls on Fat Boy Channel. Now, ain't that something? Brace.
But you'll have to agree with me that they're winning. The women are winning all across the board.
How? No, we can't say that.
What are they winning
at? Okay, let's break it down.
What are they winning at?
Yeah, before we move forward.
They get everything handed to them. Right? What? They don't have to pretty much work for nothing. The ones who work want to work.
Why
right?
are you giving them everything for nothing?
I said that's what they're getting.
Why are men giving them everything for nothing?
because men worship the ground women walk on. In a
So
lot of
that
cases,
seems like a man issue.
I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying the
saying
point
that
is,
seems like a man issue, not a woman issue. Like,
I'm not saying no,
I-
no, I'm not. So I'm not here to
why the
bash
fuck are
them
you worshiping a woman that's not giving you any value?
because men value companionship and respect, and they do almost a lot of things to get it.
And if they're not getting that, why are you dealing with her?
Well, that's you have to talk to them about that, right? I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying, because you have, I'm not talking about me. This is
That
not
still seems
anecdotal.
like a man issue, brother.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is this, right?
So do you realize, Ruthless, that you have not substantiated what you are attempting to say, even though you went uninterrupted? We did not interrupt you.
I told you, all the women said Brownsville said that women don't want to follow, they don't trust us, and all this other stuff. But yet they're dating us, they're letting us court them and pay for everything, right? They're marrying us, they're having kids with us. They're still doing the same thing they did in the old days. Now, maybe not as at the highest rate, but they're still indulging with men. But this time, in this day and age, they're charging up front. They're not even letting you offer. They're like, cash at me if you want to date me. You're going to have a conversation with me. Women are saying this out loud to certain men. Right?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, Ruthless. You gonna have to
Very
get
man, I
you
understand.
you gonna have to get
Really out here, but it's going on out here. These women ain't playing. They ain't playing, and what they're doing is they're dumping their boyfriends. They come out dumping their boyfriends, and they're starting going to see stripping, OnlyFans, or whatever. Or they're going to they're are they going to get them a sugar daddy? They're not build. They're trying to build with no one no more. They want you to have it, or they get rid of your ass.
And you saying this is the majority of women?
The modern women, yes.
This is wild.
But this is not true because it's not true
Very
because we know it's not true because we see women all the time helping out and taking care of young brothers all the time. For example, we got Desi Banks. He's with a modern woman. She put him in his house.
I'm not doing that, but it's just the
There's some
idea that you're
outliers.
portraying most women as OnlyFans models and strippers, and they're
It's
going to
crazy.
throw their boyfriends to the side.
That's
Well, I'm
crazy.
saying there are outliers, Ron. I disagree. There are outliers. There are outliers, but they're not the majority.
Majority of women are not strippers and OnlyFans models.
No, I didn't say that. No, I was just outlining some of the self-made ways they're going to go to get about their
The
own.
majority of them just don't value bringing value to men.
Say it again.
They don't.
No,
the majority of them just don't. The majority of them just do not value bringing value to men.
I agree.
That's it.
I
That
agree.
means at that point they just don't value men, and they don't value us enough to bring or find out what we like or understand this at all.
Right.
For the
I
most
agree
part.
with that. I agree with
They
that.
want a level of caterism to them, and they want a level of spotlight, even though I don't know what spotlight you're getting in a normal ass Arkansas relationship, but they want it there too. So
we're saying the same thing.
No, but you're saying that they're strippers and hoes and
right.
Well, what I'm saying is,
and they're gonna do you.
Let me break it down this way.
The simple fact is that they're just not good partners to be with.
No, what I'm saying is the women who there are a large percentage of women, right? If the man do not get them things, this is high school, coming out of high school, going into college, a lot of these women are going into sex work. It's a big growing and fast and growing community.
How many sex workers are you dealing with for you to feel this way?
Strippers? There's a lot of strip clubs in LA. Man, what are we talking about?
How many sex workers are you dealing with for you to feel this way?
No, I'm just saying this is what's happening. OnlyFans.
Anything is just happening though, Ruthless.
All I'm just saying is there's a small percentage of women that are doing that. Then there's other women that's going after their degrees. I mean, there's just different ways of doing it. But what women are saying,
generalize women though, and say that, and then 2 minutes later say it's a small percentage.
Ruthless. What percentage of women you think are doing what you are saying?
I say 35%.
Jesus Christ.
So why you make it seem like it's the majority of women?
That's a lot.
That's a big ass, that's a lot. If you're gonna say 35% are strippers and hoes,
and I'm not even counting. I don't have a number on the women who are just meeting guys and having them pay just to have conversation. They're not even having sex.
When the last time you paid for a sex worker, Ruthless?
I don't.
I don't even meet sex workers. I don't even meet sex workers like day to day for it to be like 35%.
But I do go to my friends and I go to strip clubs, right? And I conversate with a lot of these strippers.
When the last time you went to the strip club then?
And they tell me what they tell me. I ask them the question.
When was the last time you went to the strip club then?
Don't ask when was the last time.
3 months ago. 3 months ago. 3 months ago.
And how much you spend at this strip club?
Oh my days.
All right. We dropped around.
To answer that, Ruth.
Like, I answer it. I don't care. We dropped around like 2 bands.
Did you get
all of us together? Like,
did you get
ones?
All of us together? How many is all of us?
All right, so you spend about 2,000.
Hold on. How many is all of us together?
About 3 of us.
So 3 divided by 2 bands.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good amount of money.
So did any of y'all get any
box? Not a lot of money. No, we didn't want the box. It's just for entertainment.
How are you saying they running game if you?
I didn't say they running. You said
they running circles around.
This is what I'm saying. All
y'all are giving them $750.
$600, and you know it's crazy.
More than a PlayStation 5.
Hey, you know what's crazy about it, Sway?
Play that every day.
Yo, Sway, you know what's crazy about it? It's $666. That's how much it equals out to me.
You lucky Brownsville's not
crazy.
here.
2,000 divided by 3 men.
Why I don't like
666.
having random people come on the panel, because then I got to start arguing against the men because y'all be saying some dumb shit like that. Like, I don't understand. Like, how do you say in one breath they're running circles around men, but then you're complicit in them running circles? You can't complain about the thing you're complicit in.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying.
You're like they don't provide no value, but I'm gonna give them $666 for no value.
Okay, Sway.
That's what they do, Sway. This is why I was talking about earlier, Sway.
So
ain't no amount of ass shaking in my face for $666.
Wait a minute, hold on, Sway. Slow down. Now let's look.
You better hit my goddamn super chat. You giving them goddamn strippers. I give you more entertainment than those goddamn shit.
No, you don't. No, you don't, nigga. I don't want it either. But what I'm saying is this way. You gonna pay now or you gonna pay later? So any woman that you want to be with in the future,
most men in my life paid.
Most men, you're gonna pay. Oh, that's right. Well, you just made a statement though. Sway, but you're paying for the woman that you're gonna get boxed from. You're gonna pay the mortgage.
Never in my life paid $666.
How much you think you paid for the woman you with now? How much money you think you took for a woman you with now?
I can't even count how many times I've had sex with my woman, let alone how much money I spent. So it's irrelevant.
So you ain't spend no money?
The idea that you paid $666 and you didn't get no cheeks.
But you missed this, right? That's entertainment. People pay for basketball games. People pay for entertainment all over the world. What are you talking about? That's just another form of entertainment.
You tease yourself for $666 to go home to do what?
I'm just there for the entertainment. They twerking whatever we throw.
The blue ball himself all night to go home to do what?
I'm not getting blue ball.
To go home and complain about how women are sex workers. He go ahead, he entertained the sex workers, and then now he want to come on here and
cannot be a spokesperson for men on these platforms.
I'm not complaining.
Man. You make our job harder, bro.
Sharon, I'm not complaining.
Guys like you make our job harder on these panels.
I'm just saying
you expect us to
Sway, you gotta calm down, Sway. You just overthinking this, Sway.
I'm talking normal. I don't know how you expect us to preach and be men on men's side when you got niggas like you coming up here making it hard as fuck.
How?
Pause.
How make it hard? How make it hard when this niggas paying for whole mortgages? This niggas paying for gross cars.
To Sway, the more you have the conversation, the more you understand. Right? It's crazy.
Every man is paying for his woman, damn near. Damn near. Either way it go, you paying for the box. Either way it goes.
That's not what's happening.
I'm not paying more than a PS5 for coochie. What don't you understand?
I don't understand. So why do you think a natural relationship, whatever money I spend in my natural relationship, you consider that paying for coochie? Why you consider that?
Because you're paying for the immediate sexual access. That's the only value she's bringing.
No, I'm not.
Dude, I said she.
And we are paying for sexual access from my girlfriend.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Not. No.
Okay,
That's not
so
what
she
you
didn't
do.
have no vagina. You would still pay for that.
So hold on. All right. So let's say we concede to that. So you saying she's giving me vagina
Right.
because I could give her provision and protection?
Yes.
All right.
It's
So then
all a part of the deal. Let's keep it 100. It's all a part of the deal. You pay for all the games.
this is why we.
You
This
probably
is
is
why.
fine.
This,
You
I
ain't
got
Why
over
did
20 million.
you
I'm gonna let you. I'm
provide
gonna let
and
you
got
finish
no
it. This is
coochie then?
this is why I call it remedial rhetoric, Sway. It's
How do
crazy.
you provide $666 and get no coochie then? I don't understand that. That
Because
seems like
Sway,
sounds like
have you
poor
ever
financial
been to?
management.
Wait, hold on. Have you ever been to an NBA game?
No,
Have you ever been to a baseball game?
actually, I have been to an NBA game, but I didn't pay for it.
Okay, and how much it cost for the tickets?
I didn't pay for it. We actually got for free because my dad's boss was
But-
season ticket holders.
So people, okay, so let me help you out. People pay for entertainment in this country.
I bet they do. Yeah.
Sports, strippers, all of it's form of entertainment. It's just a form of entertainment. This is when you have the money and you want to get entertained, right? She dances, whatever. That's
All right.
entertainment.
So now, Ruthless. So now, if I buy 2 tickets to an NBA game,
Yeah.
and then me and my girl, we go there, we eat food, then we go eat dinner, we go home, and we go to sleep. Then what? What you saying about that?
I'm just saying is that you're paid for some entertainment.
So if I go pay for an NBA game, me and my girl go and
That's
we go and we come home, we're like, man, that shit fucking sucks. I hate NBA games. 2 weeks later, I go to the NBA game and I'm like, all right, go home, and I come back. That shit sucks. I hate NBA games. NBA games suck. They're the worst things in the world. 2 weeks later, I go to an NBA game. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you hate strippers and
hate
them running games
that.
and taking money from men,
What are you doing? You're projecting?
you're projecting.
I didn't project. I just said I hate strippers. I never said I hated strippers.
You
I never
said
said that.
women are running game and they're
This
taking
is
money
what I'm
from men.
saying. No, this is what I'm saying. You're missing the whole
Ruthless.
thing.
Ruthless. Hold on. Before you go, read this. That's all we said.
Fuck you, big bad boy.
He paid $666 to pregame a hand job.
Okay,
That's
so
that's
this,
bad, bro.
hold on. Wait. Now let's
You went with
be honest.
3 dudes too.
Can I tell you my point? My point.
3
I'm
dudes went to go pregame a hand job.
Okay,
I don't know.
Who was reaching around? Ruthless. Who was reaching around who?
Y'all hand job yourselves, I hope. Y'all, it's your own
Man, fuck you, Sharon.
individual houses.
Fuck you talking about who reaching out who, nigga. I'll be
I hope-
saying it. Y'all just drinking this big ass deal about that. Wait, my point was not to say that I don't.
You could have put that
What I'm
666
saying
into an
is-
investment account or something.
Hey,
nigga.
Sway, go ahead and get your rest. Go take your goddamn nap because it is past 10 o'clock. You gotta get up and grind. So go ahead and take your nap. Oh God, Ruthless. Ruthless, that is insane. What you are saying.
You haven't been to a strip club before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then. So it's entertainment, right? You don't understand that, right?
Yeah, but also I didn't come home and complain about it neither.
I'm not complaining about it though.
Because you were saying that men are out here, they gotta pay for this and pay for that. And
Let me.
all these women are goddamn sex workers, but you are the problem why it is so many sex workers out there. Because she do not have to go out there and find no man or go ahead and find a real job because she got 3 men walked in the club and pushed out $666.
Sharon, can we have this conversation? I'm not complaining. That was not my point of my argument. All I was telling to the dude is women saying they're complaining about they want men to be more when I'm saying they're already getting everything they potentially could get from men. And that's even in dating, courting, or whatever, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not mad about it. And I'm not complaining to say that, oh, I want my woman to go 50-50. Or no, we like doing this. That's me. We don't have no problem with paying for shit. This is what we do. This is what we were providing. This is our nature. All I'm saying to the other men out here who are saying that women they don't trust us anymore. No. That's not what the deal is. Right? I'm saying that women are just choosing to go straight for the money instead of the journey. Right? They don't want to go through all that shit no more. That's all.
Well, the reason why is because you're willing to give $666 and they don't have to do anything but dance a little bit, shake a little ass.
Okay, so what an NBA player make, right? What an NBA player, right?
So if it was less men out there that was willing to do that,
Yeah, how you doing?
your damn finger, put your damn finger down.
Uh-huh.
So that's what it is, man. Like, well, we're about to conclude because we're supposed to only me and Sway supposed to only do 2 hours today. Go ahead, Ruthless is all good. Handle your business. Because you know we got to do this again in the AM, 9 a.m. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to talk about, but me and Sway, we're going to do this maybe like at least
I got to go pay the parking ticket. Did you get it
3
done?
nights a week, right? So we did it today, Monday. The next show with me and Sway.
But I'm just saying what she
Is
just did
going
today?
to be on Wednesday. We're gonna do this again on Wednesday around 8 a.m. ish. That's probably the best time for both of us. Around 8 a.m. around this about the time. So make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. Make sure you hit that like button and share button because that really helps the channel grow. Let's keep growing. Let's keep building this plane while we fly it. As we rebel against remedial red like Ruthless with his $660 to just hug his homeboy and reach around. God damn it. Uh-oh. He's back. He's back. You on mute, sir. I cannot unmute you. You have to do it yourself.
There we go. It was a very important card. But I just want to say to the man, I'm pro man. You know that. You know what I mean? I'm not here to put down men. I do think men, we have, especially black men, we've overcome a lot due to our history in America. You know what I mean? We're making the most money ever in the history. We are, of a great success. But we are stepping up and we are taking care of women still to this day. Even with the complaining.
You change your name to Ruthless Trick.
Oh, that's how you gonna do it? That's how you gonna do it?
That's what your name should be. And hopefully you'll be back here. We're going to do this again on Wednesday night. We're going to do this again.
I'm talking about shit back. You know that.
Huh?
Fuck you. I'm talking about shit back.
Hopefully I'll see you here Wednesday. I'll scream at y'all later. Y'all know how I do. I do this every day, 9 a.m. We also have the morning show. So hopefully I'll see y'all back there as well. I will see y'all later.